Everyone, welcome back. Josh Peter and Alex Goldman here From the Stands for the first time in a little over a month, and we're very lucky to be joined by one of our favourites, the man fresh off a win at UFC 305 last month, our guy Tom Nolan. Mate, appreciate the time as always. Firstly, how are you on this fine Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm going good, brother. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man. Now that you've sort of had some time to reflect on UFC 305, obviously a big one for you, being on a pay-per-view card. I know what it meant to you and those sort of things. Now that you've had a month, I guess, to reflect on it and maybe have some downtime, how do you reflect on that weekend and the night overall?
Yeah, man, it was unreal experience. To be honest, I haven't really reflected too much. I've just been straight back to the gym, working on some things that I feel like need improvement, and hopefully getting back in there at the end of the year. I've just been grinding, looking to go again.
For sure. Tom, something I wanted to ask you is that your gym recently partnered with the TrainAlta program, a program that's really going to be making waves, particularly here in Brisbane for the foreseeable future. And I was just wondering if you could talk to what you think the benefit is of sort of the everyday person joining a program like this and having, just that one fight experience. What do you think are some of the sort of, the physical and the mental benefits that experience can bring to them?
Yeah, well, you've got to start somewhere, right? I feel like all of us in the UFC, we all had that idea of, oh, well, I'll just have one fight and then see what happens from there. And, then you fall in love with it. You end up becoming like pretty good at it. So you end up sticking with it and you get to the UFC. But yeah, I think it gives an opportunity for young guys to start and old people as well, like whatever age, but especially the young guys. It gives you somewhere to sort of put your foot in the door and find a way to start the journey.
Yeah, definitely. And mate, just touching quickly back on that fight. I know speaking to you during fight week and everything, you would have liked to finish, but I feel like you're getting so many opportunities to grow and
Yep.
improve at such a young age. You know what I mean? And like I said to you over in Perth and, said to Elliot and everyone else, that one of the best things that ever happened to you was losing that first fight. And I feel like you've
Yep.
just continued to grow so much. And as much as you would have liked to have gone out there and flatlined Reyes in a round, the fact that you got the 3 round experience, you got chance to show your skills and do all
Yep.
those sort of things in front of a crowd, which mind you would have been a different experience as well, having a crowd like that. Um, how important do you think that is, continually getting those opportunities to grow in fights, not just going out there and not really learning anything? I feel like you're going out there every time and you're learning a lot.
Yeah, man. Big takeaway from that is my gas tank. Like I can go for days. I can trust in myself. Old mate really wanted it too, which was a good test for me. Like I could tell he really, really wanted to beat me. Like I hit him with some pretty nasty shots, and he was eating that most dudes would have gone down from. Um, what else? I've also, yeah, the crowd, man, unreal. Like I'm not an Apex fighter. I definitely need to beat the crowd. So I'm
Yeah,
glad. I'm pretty sure that Apex is getting shut now for a little bit. So
yeah, I believe so.
that's a big positive for me because I love that. That walkout was unreal, and fighting in that room with all those people, man, it was electric. So yeah, I can't wait to go again in front of I want a big one this time. I want like 20 or 30,000. I think that was in like 15, but yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Josh here From the Stands. And look, I know you're in the middle of a good little interview that we're currently doing, but I want to take a second of your time just to give a quick little shout out to today's sponsor, TrainAid. Obviously, they're big supporters of us, like we are of them. And today they're sponsoring this video. And look, I want to let you guys know about a little product they do. Their premium product, TrainAid Hydration. It's the best hydration formula on the market, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And look, if you don't believe me, ask guys like Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski, Leon Edwards. You ever heard of these guys? I mean, they're the top athletes in the world. And they're all taking TrainAid Hydration. It really is the #1 formula in the world for hydration. And in the summer months here in Australia, I mean, it's something that I think everyone should be taking. And TrainAid have been very nice to give us a discount code, a very healthy discount code as well. I mean, it's a nice little discount code. If you use the code FTS15 at the checkout, they will give you 15% off. We'll leave a link to their website in this description of this video. And yeah, check them out, guys. Please support them because they are supporting us. Cheers.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, man. And, we just talked about that, that first loss being such a learning experience for you. And, I was just
Yep.
wondering if you can share any sort of words of advice that you maybe offered to Stu Nicoll, who, had a really, really good performance, made one mistake, happens in this sport a lot. I think a lot of casual fans are very quick to sort of forget that. But I'm just curious if you can share just some of the words of advice that you offered to him after his first UFC outing.
Yeah, man, I spoke with Stewie. He's pretty headstrong. Like, I don't think he really needs much advice. I think he's a type of guy that he's going to do things his own way. And yeah, I think it was a good lesson for him. Like, obviously, losses are never good, but like that monkey's off the back for him now too. That was a big thing for me going in there. Once that monkey's off the back, now the pressure's gone. So now he just gets to come back and fly into the next opponent without any pressure. People are gonna say what they want to say and talk to shit, but as soon as he gets back, he'll be back in that win column and he'll beat someone up pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And you spoke about it before, Tommy, that you're going to come back. You want to come back before the end of the year, if possible. Originally, I knew you were looking to take some time off, maybe take the rest of the year off, and just improve and do those sorts of things and train. This is a bit of a two-part question, but what sort of changed your mind in wanting to get another fight in before the end of the year? And is there a date? Obviously, I mentioned to you last night, I think February would be awesome. Sydney, you in February, maybe a prelim headliner. I think you could be on that. Even the main card, I think, open up the main card would be fun to see you on. So yeah, two-part question. What made you change that mindset? And is there a date or an opponent that you're looking at to return to?
Yeah, so the reason I've changed my mind on that is a pretty big one. So for the first 6 months of this year, I've had a bit of health problems going on, and I was going to take the rest of the year to just get it sorted, but I have actually got on top of it. It's all sorted now, so I'm all good. But I did have some stuff going on that I was thinking I might need to take some time to just let heal up and recover. That's all good though. That's all done. So it's like I'm thinking, well, I'm not injured. I'm not sick. I'm young. Like I just want to get back in. I want to fight. I want to make some money. I want to make a name for myself. I really want to just get in and have a crack. Yeah, we were looking at the last few cards of the year, like hopefully December or end of November. But, they're signing all these fighters every week now and contenders. Who knows? Well, that's my goal, but we'll see. If not, then I guess maybe the start of the year, maybe Sydney if I can't get on. So yeah, that's my goal.
Yeah. For a while, man, we had a lot more sort of striking orientated champions, in the UFC, such as O'Malley, Leon Edwards, Adesanya, and, even Stipe and Francis at heavyweight. Now the pendulum has sort of swung back in the other direction. We're seeing more sort of wrestling heavy champions such as Bilal, Islam, Marab. Do you kind of look at these trends in the sport and make any adjustments to your training around them? Or do you kind of just focus on improving yourself and sort of whatever happens in the fight is going to happen?
Yeah, I take each fight at a time, right? Like, my fights don't show it because I don't grapple a whole heap, but I like to believe I'm pretty well rounded. So I'm not just a striker, even though I fight just as a striker. But realistically, if you look at everyone I've fought so far, other than my one loss, the way I've approached it has been the way to approach those fights. So, when the time's right, I'll use my grappling advantages. And yeah, I just train to get better. I don't really care about what the whole trend is going on. There's going to be killers in all weight classes with all different skill sets. For me, it's who's in front of me at that time. How do I beat them? On to the next guy.
Tommy, when I spoke to Anik just prior to 305, John Anik, that is, he I referenced you, and in his words, he said you're an absolute stud. That was pretty cool to hear. And sort of the rap he gave you was, you come in here and you do your media with DC and Dominic Cruz and these guys, and nothing phases you. It's business as usual. It's like you've done it 100 times. And that's sort of what I've said to other people, introducing them to you, to your style and your fighting game, is that nothing really phases you. And I guess, I know you don't get starstruck as much because you're meant to be there, which is a great attitude and a great mindset to have. But I guess what was that, if you had any reaction or had any thoughts or feelings to what Anik said about you, because obviously he's a very well respected member of the UFC. I mean, he's the voice of the UFC. So to hear that sort of praise from him, I guess, what, if anything, did that mean to you?
Oh man, that actually meant a lot to me, Anik. I'm a huge fan of his. So to see that video pop up, I think it was Fight Day you posted it, or
yeah.
So
just before Fight Day,
So yeah, that was fucking cool. The whole experience was cool. I had a few moments where I was just a fan, like meeting Volk and Izzy and that. Like, in those moments, I was like, I'm definitely just a fan, even though I know I belong there.
That's good.
With those guys, it's like I've got to soak that up while they're, because I'm young and they're a bit older, so I've got to take advantage of those opportunities while I'm there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. So I spoke to Don Marfan, a couple of weeks back, and he spoke about how, mentally his focus is looking for violent finishes or sort of the quality of his performance rather than necessarily, hyper focusing on I have to get the win. And I'm just curious if you have a similar mindset to that going into fights, or if you kind of view them a little bit differently.
No, that's exactly my mindset, man. I have never, no, I shouldn't say never. As an amateur, I cared a lot about the win and the loss, and then I lost, and then I realized that that's not what makes a great fighter. So after my loss as an amateur, from that fight moving forward, I promised myself I wouldn't ever care about the win or the loss. I would only care about going out there and hurting people. So yeah, that's why the losses don't sting as bad for me. The wins actually sting more. Like we were just talking about, me getting 3 rounds was really good experience for me. But the fact that I didn't get the kill is what upsets me the most. Like, I really wanted to finish. So I take that almost as bad as a loss.
Yeah. And well, last one for me, Tommy, and then we'll let you go. I want to say congratulations from both of us on the new car. Is that it at the moment? Are you in the new car
yeah,
now?
bro. Yeah,
awesome.
We're in the right now.
Mate, that's awesome. To see that, that's those little wins you get. That's one of them. To see the hard work paying off. To pick up a new whip like that, mate, looks pretty nice, and it must be cool coming from a country town to Toowoomba and being able to show the fruits of your labor, and that's one of them.
Man.
So very happy for you. I guess, what, if anything, did that mean to you going to pick that up, knowing the amount of work and sweat that's gone into that car, really,
Yeah, man, 100%. That's actually a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up, because this is probably the first thing I've ever bought myself that's come from fighting. Everything I'm always like, I'm pretty smart with it, and I've got to save my money, and I've got to, always look for the next fight, the next bigger fight, the next bigger this, bigger that. But for the first time, I was like, I'm in a position now where I can actually look after myself with something. So yeah, I bought it, and all it's done is given me a taste. So now it's I want to get a house, and I want to keep I want to keep spending. And it gets me waking up every morning with a bit of a goal, a bit of a drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Good on you.
Well, Tom, again, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, man. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And, we say it pretty much every time, but, for those of you that still are not on the big train, get your tickets, get your go-cards out, because we know that you've got an incredibly bright future ahead of the sport, man. Wishing you all the best. Enjoy the new whip, as Josh said. And yeah, man, we'll have to chop it up again in the near future.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man.